sound of howling wind and crackling radio static. The signal is weak, but we can just make it out. We're pushing into the whiteout, following the final breadcrumbs left by the Wegener expedition of 1930. 90 years ago. They vanished right here, swallowed by the ice. Our mission? To find out what happened, to give their story an ending. The air bites, -40 degrees, and the wind feels like it's trying to peel the skin from your bones. We're a team of 4. Myself, our medic Anya, our local guide Nanauk, and our cameraman Leo, who's documenting every frozen breath. Days turn into a blur of white. The landscape is a brutal, beautiful monster. We found fragments of their journey, a splintered sled half buried in the snow, a tattered map flapping against a rock, and strange, unsettling symbols carved into the ice. Minogue says they're warnings meant for those who followed. The old radio logs we've been replaying are getting fainter, filled with more static than words, but the last clear transmission spoke of a discovery. Something that defied explanation. They weren't just lost. They were chasing something deeper into the heart of this frozen desert. The storm hit without warning. A solid wall of snow and ice, turning day into a twilight nightmare. Visibility dropped to 0. We were lucky to find a fissure in the ice, a natural cave that offered a temporary reprieve, and that's when we found it. A makeshift camp frozen in time. A leather-bound diary, its pages stiff with ice, rested beside a frozen tin cup. As Anya carefully thawed the pages, the final entries revealed a story of desperation and impossible choices. They found something ancient under the ice, but waking it had a cost. They weren't running from the storm. They were trying to seal something back in. The diary's last words are chilling. The ice calls. We must answer. Just outside the cave entrance, a single line of footprints leads away from the camp and ends abruptly at the edge of a massive bottomless crevasse. There's nothing else, no sign of a struggle, no discarded equipment. Just footprints that stop. It's as if they simply stepped into the void. All that's left now are the echoes in the wind and a profound respect for the power of these polar extremes. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only to serve as a warning. Thanks for joining us on this chilling journey. If you're fascinated by tales of exploration and mystery, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next expedition into the unknown. Stay curious and stay safe. The Arctic Circle. A realm of blinding white and bone-deep cold. It's a place that guards its secrets fiercely, swallowing expeditions whole and leaving behind only whispers on the wind. Today, we venture into one of its most chilling mysteries, the complete disappearance of the 1930s Terra Nova expedition. Our team is here to retrace their steps, to follow the breadcrumbs of a story that ended in silence over 90 years ago. But in a land where the horizon is a lie and the ice shifts beneath your feet, finding answers might mean getting lost ourselves. This is the story of a journey into the heart of a frozen enigma where the ghosts of the past are never truly gone. Our expedition leader, Elias Vance, a veteran of polar exploration, studies the tattered map. It's a replica of the one used by the original Terra Nova crew, their intended route a faint, optimistic line against a vast, blank canvas. Beside him, Anya, our medic, checks our supplies. Every calorie, every layer of clothing is a lifeline. Guiding us is Nanauk, whose ancestors have navigated these unforgiving landscapes for centuries. His eyes scan the ice, reading a language we can't comprehend. And then there's me, Leo, behind the camera, trying to capture the sheer, terrifying scale of it all. Our mission: find the last known camp of the Terra Nova expedition. But out here, the past has a way of reaching forward. 3 days in, the landscape has become a hypnotic, featureless expanse. The only sound is the crunch of our boots on the snow and the howl of the wind. It's the wind that carries the first clue. A faint, crackling sound picked up on our long-range radio. It's Morse code, faint, looping, and nonsensical. It's almost certainly a natural anomaly, radio waves bouncing off the ionosphere, but it's identical to the pattern described in the final, garbled transmission from the Terra Nova. A coincidence? Or is this unforgiving land playing tricks on us? Nanauk is uneasy. He says the air feels heavy, like it's holding its breath. The temperature is dropping, and the sky is turning a bruised, ominous gray. We press on. The ghosts signal a strange, unsettling companion in the vast emptiness. We found the first marker. An abandoned sled half buried in a snowdrift. The wood is warped and bleached by decades of exposure. Carved into its side is a single desperate word: south. This contradicts their original plan. The Terra Nova was supposed to be heading north. Why the sudden change in direction? Elias believes they must have encountered an impassable obstacle, perhaps a massive crevasse field that wasn't on their maps. But Anya points out the supplies left on the sled: tins of food, a bundle of furs. They were well stocked. You don't abandon vital supplies unless you're running from something, or running asterisk to asterisk something with terrifying urgency. The mystery deepens. Every clue we find only seems to add another layer of confusion. We are following not just a path, but a panic. The next discovery is even more disturbing. A canvas tent, shredded by the wind, its remnants flapping like skeletal prayer flags. Inside, scattered across the frozen floor, are personal effects. A pipe, a silver locket with a faded photograph, and a leather-bound journal. It belonged to the Terra Nova scientist. The first few pages are filled with scientific observations, meticulous notes on ice formations and atmospheric pressure. But as we read further, the handwriting becomes erratic, frantic. He writes of a song in the ice, a low, resonant hum that nobody else could hear. He describes a growing paranoia among the crew, a sense of being watched by the endless white. The final entry is a chilling scrawl. It's not the cold, it's the silence. It has a shape. Suddenly the world vanishes. A whiteout descends upon us with shocking speed. One moment we see the horizon. The next there is no up, no down, just a blinding, disorienting swirl of snow. Visibility drops to zero. We're tethered together, a crucial lifeline in this sensory deprivation chamber. The wind shrieks, a physical force that pushes and shoves. Panic is a tangible thing, a cold knot in your stomach. Nanauk, his voice calm but firm, guides us. He navigates by the feel of the wind and the slope of the ground, senses we've long forgotten. He leads us towards a dark shape he'd spotted just before the storm hit, an outcropping of rock. It's our only hope for shelter. We stumble forward, blind and deafened, trusting him with our lives as the blizzard rages, trying to erase us from the landscape just as it did the Terra Nova. We cram ourselves into a narrow ice cave behind the rocks, the storm a muffled roar outside. Our headlamps cut through the darkness, and the beams land on something that makes our blood run cold. It's another camp, but this one is different. It's a final, frozen tableau. We see packs, a stove, and scientific equipment, all encased in ice, and then we see them. Figures huddled together, preserved in the cold. It's the rest of the Terra Nova crew. They are frozen solid, eternal statues in a gallery of ice. On the lap of the expedition leader rests a final diary. Elias carefully brushes the snow away and opens it. The pages are stiff, the ink faded, but the last entry is legible. The leader wrote of a sudden, cataclysmic storm, far worse than anything they had ever anticipated. They were cut off, lost, and their supplies were dwindling. The entry details their last days, the fading hope, the creeping cold. But it's the final paragraph that explains everything. The scientist, driven mad by the isolation and the song in the ice, had destroyed their navigation equipment, convinced it was leading them into a trap. He fled into the blizzard, and they had no choice but to take shelter and wait. The last line is a heart-wrenching message to his family, a final, desperate whisper against the storm. We face the end with courage. Do not grieve. The Arctic keeps its own. They weren't just lost. They were sabotaged from within. As the storm finally subsides, we emerge from the cave. The world is reborn, clean and silent under a clear, cold sky. We stand before a massive, gaping crevasse, a blue-black wound in the ice that seems to stretch into infinity. Leading to its edge is a single set of footprints preserved in the newly fallen snow. The scientists. They walk to the very brink of the abyss. And then they stop. There are no tracks leading away. He was consumed by the ice, a final offering to the silence he so feared. The fate of the Terra Nova expedition is finally known. They were trapped, frozen, and ultimately never found until now. Their bodies will remain here at the request of their descendants, a permanent, solemn monument to the unforgiving power of this land. Our journey back is a quiet one. We carry with us not just the story of the Terra Nova, but a profound respect for the polar extremes. This is a world that does not forgive mistakes. It demands preparation, humility, and an understanding that we are only visitors in a realm of immense, untamable power. The story of those lost souls is a stark reminder. When you challenge the ends of the earth, you must be prepared for the earth to challenge you back. Sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't about finding what was lost, but about understanding what it takes to survive. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible and humbling expedition. The stories of our past are written not just in books, but in the ice and stone of our planet's most remote corners. If you were captivated by this journey, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.